Welcome to another episode of Bringing Down the Grindhouse, and tonight we're going to be talking about comedy horror. How's it going, John?
It's going well, thanks. I was actually excited for this one because anyone I told about it was freaking out over it because of the films that we chose for it.
Oh, yeah.
And so it ended up being something that was exciting to kind of get into, and also rewatching it after like so many years, both of them.
I actually really was excited because I'd never seen either of these movies, and I've never seen either of them in my whole life before. I just have seen things and heard stuff. And
did you watch them like back to back or like?
I watched them back to back pretty much.
Oh
Yeah, I basically went like it was one on a shift on my work. During one of my little sit down breaks, I was able to plow through one of the movies. I was able to plow through Leprechaun at work. Yeah.
So what are the two movies that we focused on for the film?
Today we focused. Over the last week we focused on Killer Klowns from Outer Space and Leprechaun. Killer Klowns was released in 1988, and Leprechaun was released in 1993.
Yep. Killer Klowns from Outer Space was released in 1988, and it had a budget of $1.8 million.
Damn.
Although I cannot seem to find any numbers for how much Killer Klowns from Mars made, which was kind of interesting because, like you mentioned, we were talking about it off the recording. You mentioned that it got released on VHS, like how many years later?
It got released on VHS in 2001, is what I remember, which is a really silly amount of time for it. And then the sequel to it has been in development hell forever, since then.
Didn't they just make an announcement?
But yeah, Sci-Fi just picked it up.
Yep.
Is the deal.
Well, I'll get into Sci-Fi in just a second. But Leprechaun was released in 1993. Mm-hmm. Starred Jennifer Aniston, who I don't really have to explain who that is, but the box office was $8.6 million off of a $1 million budget. So they made like 7 times the amount of money that they put into this movie. So Leprechaun, highly successful. As far as the critics go, though, people fucking hated that movie.
Oh, Leprechaun is we'll talk about our opinions at the end of this, but we really want to focus on the content of these movies, really, rather than how I feel about either of them.
We'll get to that, like...
I'm sure I just gave it away, though.
Well, we already had a discussion about just having Jennifer Aniston in Leprechaun.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston is Jennifer Aniston when it comes to acting. And, she's been in some good roles. We've talked about her Friends time before and how I like Friends and John doesn't like Friends. And we don't need to rehash this argument. We almost killed each other over a heated debate after the podcast. Knives were drawn, shouting was made, someone's cat disappeared in the whole amount of this horrible thing. But aside from that, Jennifer Aniston is in it. And I think that was the big draw for the Leprechaun movie.
It must have been, but also like probably just really good timing. Like when they release like disaster movies. And they always do it at the same time. Yep. Like, there's never just one disaster movie out of nowhere. It's always like 5 or 6 because people are like jumping on the bandwagon.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's like it must have just been a really good time in 1993 for that movie to come out.
Leprechaun also had the general. Well, I guess we should start with the general gist of what Leprechaun is. Like, what is the whole? It's basically this small leprechaun was tormenting this family that stole his gold.
Or he thinks stole his gold.
He thinks stole his gold.
We never really get confirmation if they did.
The old Irish man traps him in a box with a 4-leaf clover because that is basically like... It's really interesting to me that the leprechaun is essentially almost has a vampiric-like weakness almost to him.
Right, just a single thing.
Yeah, it's whereas a vampire would be a cross in some iterations.
Oh, like the wooden stake.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes the cross is just used to ward off vampires. Sometimes, they just put it and they go, "Oh no, vampire! God, Jesus!" And then they freak out. And so the 4-leaf clover is used similar to that. It's like a weakness, for the leprechaun,
which is funny because it's supposed to be like the ultimate symbol of luck. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it's just like you can ward off evil leprechauns for it.
Yeah,
which also is another thing. They made the leprechaun evil. Like, for the most part, whenever you, like, see popular media, see Lucky Charms and whatever else, they're really happy-go-lucky kind of leprechauns that you meet. Where in this case, he's like, you stole my gold, I'm going to fucking kill all of you. Yeah. Like, where's my money?
I mean, from what I know, leprechauns were like trickster folklore spirits and stuff. So they kind of had that aspect
for, like, the older folklore?
Yeah, for Irish folklore in particular.
Yeah. Do they only exist in Irish folklore?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean, I'm sure there's
specifically,
something comparable to the Leprechaun in other ones, but the Leprechaun's pretty specifically Irish and usually associated with Irish folklore.
Okay.
But I mean, in the movie, he like tears people up and they shoot him with guns, and he falls over and is just disabled for a moment, and then he keeps chasing after them. And the acting in the movie is acting.
Well, the movie itself has like rules.
Yeah,
Kinda like any good horror movie.
It does have very specific
it has, like,
rules to it.
specific
Yes,
rules
I
for the
agree.
monster and for like how the characters survive.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gives you like a way to gauge the film on whether or not this person's going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like sort of what ties into the rules for like the final girl. We talked about it like
Yeah, exactly.
it's like episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with Black Christmas and the final girls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like there's those rules that they start using, and this one they definitely put in some rules for the Leprechaun. He's like not invincible.
Yeah, exactly. They can disable him and whatnot and things like that. And it's like, but it's weird things that, I think one of my favorite parts is that he's expressly a shoemaker.
Yes.
And so they throw shoes at him and he must shine them. His rule is that he must shine shoes.
Yes.
So they literally distract this monster by throwing buckets of shoes at him and he has to stop to shine each one. And they use this to like distract him for a moment, and it's pretty hilarious, to be honest, because he's just like, oh no, me shoe, and he just like picks it up. And
supposedly when I was reading through some articles about the film, it was supposed to be much more serious horror, but the guy who plays the Leprechaun inserted so much humor.
Warwick Davis.
Yes, thank you. They had to like sort of revise what they were doing and be like, actually this is pretty funny, and then they just kept it going with his weird humor. And so in the same way, he was able to make that humorous role or that serious role into something that's kind of funny, and no one else could really do it, on top of like he's already a small dude, and how many actors are playing those kind of characters. So it was like he kind of just set the bar for it.
Warwick play an Ewok?
I'm pretty sure he did.
Didn't he play an Ewok?
He was an Ewok, and then he was in some of the other Star Wars films, I think.
Okay, yeah, it would make sense.
He was in Rogue One.
Oh,
you remember?
shit.
You remember Enfys Nest, the rebel leader, the girl.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of like the Marauders with her.
Oh, okay.
He like pulls off his helmet and like fucking does a rocket launcher to to the center of the crowd.
All right. Yes. Warwick Davis definitely made the character very, very funny.
Right.
For sure. And that's what made the movie more comedic than horror when they were trying to make it more serious.
They were trying so hard to make it really serious.
I was scared. I was not scared.
Well, no, I think it's like it ended up being funny because of his interactions.
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at him and he's not the most intimidating, like scary character.
Not at all.
But he's violent out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what really got me.
He just starts like tearing people's like arms apart and shit, and just god. And then the one guy has the one coin.
That's somehow
like he swallowed it.
Yeah.
To keep all of the gold, and then the leprechaun's like counting all his gold, and
doesn't he attempt to like rip it out of his stomach?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely does.
Wait, so then they were making sort of like it was like a funny play on the slasher films because he's so like not intimidating. Mm-hmm. And then the other rules, like you mentioned, where he has to like shine all of the shoes that get thrown at him, which is such a weird, wacky.
Oh, it's very, very
strange.
strange. Yes, definitely. I mean, it's a funny movie. That's definitely the thing. It's a funny
I enjoy.
I almost feel like it's like a parody of horror movies, kind of in a way. It kind of parodies it a little bit. I do think that the idea of a leprechaun being like maniacal and horrible over his gold getting stolen and like murdering people is pretty great. In all honesty, definitely. I like the concept a lot.
For Leprechaun, so they had Warwick Davis, they had Jennifer Aniston, and I feel like there was one more person on here that I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he was in this. I feel like Jennifer Aniston was like the main draw for the movie, for like bringing people to see it. Even though the film made a lot of money, I think it was just because people were like, what is this? Like, this is so different than what's being brought out at that time.
We may have already mentioned it, but the box office is surprising enough to me. The amount that it made $6 million in profit off of a $1 million budget.
Right.
Like, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty freaking crazy.
They have They have 5 films for this, right, in the franchise?
Yeah, it's got a real like Hellraiser vibe kind of in that, and it's got Hellraiseritis, where they just made a whole bunch of disjointed and disconnected Hellraiser movies that just have a character that's related and like probably nothing else.
That reminds me of, did you ever watch Jason X?
I never
the
watched
one where he's
that
in
one.
space.
Oh, I think I saw bits from it like
That
a while
shit is
long
so
time ago.
funny. I'll never forget the one line. The dude is super excited and he jumps out of nowhere and he's like, "It's okay, guys. All he wanted was his machete." And then he gets chopped in half like the next 2 seconds.
So dumb.
It's so bad.
Maybe do I need to go watch more of those like those Jason movies to like find how ridiculous they are?
Yes.
All right, I suppose so.
Watching Jason X was like going back and rewatching Anaconda. Like just super bad movie about a giant snake
that eats everyone. Oh no, the snake's in the water.
Right.
Right. So I think we'll move on to the next film, Killer Klowns.
Right.
Discuss that one a little bit.
So the other film we had was Killer Klowns from Outer Space. And then there's another one that has to do, it's Killer Tomatoes from Mars, I think is what it's called.
Is that what so it's Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
It's like weird movies that are like in that same sort of
definitely
niche of what people want to watch. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it brings to life your real fear of clowns, which is like, that seems to be really common.
Oh yeah, no, there was even been like articles about clowns walking around town, and there's like social media reports of this craziness, and I can't even I don't even know where this comes from. But I've also heard the fear of clowns multiple times. It just came out not too long ago, and the next one's on its way out now, which I'm actually kind of excited for the next one.
I liked the first It movie, the remake of it, even though like Tim Curry is always going to be fucking amazing as it. It's like they had the new guy. They showed a picture of, God, what's his name? Skarsgård, or like
yeah.
They had
Skarsgård,
him next to of Tim Curry when he was the same age. They look like almost identical.
Oh, that's
so like
crazy.
they got the same like facial structure and everything in the actor, and so they definitely were like paying a lot of attention to how much. Also, that movie scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
like,
it is definitely
when he
freaky.
comes out of the damn projector into the fucking garage.
Yep, done. Dead.
I like jumped out of my seat in the theater. I was like, "Oh fuck!"
You're like, no.
So yeah, I'm stoked for the second one.
The second one's going to be really cool because if you've read the It story, this is like the part where the adults come back to their town to battle the clown again. And I feel like they're going to amp up everything probably because he's now trying to scare adults. And what do adults... Are adults afraid of the boogeyman? No, adults are afraid of much more awful things. Much more awful things. So it's going to be very, very cool. That's what it really analyzed horror really well, and what scares people, because in the original It books, oh god, I don't really need to do this right now, but in the original It books, he used like
clowns and shit.
Yeah, he used like in the original book, the monsters that scared the children were like the Wolfman and like the Swamp Thing,
right?
And they were like childhood horror things. So he pulled from his own childhood to scare the characters in his book.
Right.
And then later on in the story, it gets crazier. Go read the book if you want to know. Anyway, so Killer Klowns. One thing I liked about this movie is one of the few movies I've seen that has its own theme song.
Yeah.
And it's super catchy, and they like wrote it specifically for the movie, and it's pretty great.
You should go look it up on YouTube. It's like a carnival.
Yeah, it's like a
you walked into it like a carnival, like an evil carny kind of vibe.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
What's that one book? Something wicked this way comes. That kind of like weird
I've actually
shit.
never read that book.
You should read it.
Okay.
It's not just straight up like something scary. It's just like, the best way to describe it is a traveling like circus, basically.
Oh, okay.
Like comes into town, and then they go and visit like the main people, and go and visit and start seeing weird shit happening. And so like it's just known as it's like an urban legend of like this thing kind of getting passed through towns, and like you can go and visit and see weird shit. And so they go and they start seeing like weird sideshows. They're like, they walk into certain places and it's like smaller or larger than it like really is because of like the tents and shit that they got set up. So it's worth it to go read it.
So I will have to check out that book, John. I definitely will. So Killer Klowns starts off with a bunch of people at like Lover's Lane hooking up and stuff, doing their thing. And then they all see a bright light in the sky, and, it crashes down, and there's like a person that lives out there, goes, investigates it, and it looks like a big circus tent. Their spaceship looks like a huge circus tent. And they go inside, like the old man goes there with his dog, and his dog gets captured, and then he gets shot, and you don't know what happens later. And then some people go exploring, and they find the tent and go inside, and it's like a carnival spaceship on the inside.
Yep.
And they encounter these big scary, like, they're like rubber suit clowns, and they like all. It's
That's
like
what got me too. The costuming that they chose for it was like, on top of them being clowns, it was really fucking weird.
It's really, like, it's honestly, this was a scarier movie. They were just creepy looking. They're just creepy. It's a silly, creepy movie, and I liked that a lot. It made me after watching this, I had to go watch Gremlins.
Gremlins is amazing.
It is amazing, yes, but I had to go watch it afterwards.
It is, like, I think that it's because of the practical effects.
Yeah,
like, this is
definitely.
like, I'm gonna, like, I feel like I always say that for anything.
I think
really
we
good.
need to do a Gremlins episode.
We should definitely do a Gremlins
Yeah,
episode.
I agree.
Yeah.
We'll do Gremlins with something else. Gremlins is great. Anyway, so yeah, and these I liked the suits, and all the design on all the character, on all the monsters and everything is great. I love it. It's super silly and creepy, so it really amps up that horror. And I love how it's like almost like really like weird and surreal, like when the people are getting chased and it's playing the theme song.
Yeah, it like plays the theme song, and then they're like able to basically break the rules of like anything they can do in the film. Like, there's a part where they're like driving basically like an invisible car, like next to the people, and you're just like, I don't know how the fuck. And then that's when the surreal part comes in, where you're like, they just start doing weird shit like that. It's like when you're watching a cartoon and they can do specific things because it's in the cartoon, like a delayed fall or something is like really one of the things.
An interesting thing was, like, on the production side of things, was that one of the most expensive props in movies, there's a popcorn gun that one of the clowns fires at two escaping characters from the evil clown ship, and that gun cost $7,000 to make and took 6 weeks to make it.
I wonder who hung on to that.
I know, right? Who took the popcorn gun with them? Yeah, right.
I should research it.
I loved the popcorn things that stick to them and then go home with them and then appear in the laundry and attack them and stuff. I liked all of that stuff. It was all very creative, and I loved that whole aspect of it. That they really pushed like the scary ass clown nonsense thing in that movie. A blast, though. Absolutely fun. Let's see. I also liked how the police chief is really dumb. They're all trying to talk to him, and he thinks that all the youngsters are fucking with him. They're like, clowns? I don't know about any clowns. That's strange. You're all trying to pull funny on me. I'm not falling for it today. And then just hangs up on them and refuses to help as the town continue calling out for help with evil clowns.
I feel like the writers or writer, whoever was doing it, they were just thinking of what's like the funniest thing they could think of for clowns to do together. And it's just multiple things that you would see either in a sideshow or on a cartoon. And then they would just bring it out to life. Like, I want to say at one point that one of the clowns like shrinks people and like throws them into a popcorn bag and just starts doing weird shit like that. Mm-hmm. And then there was Clownzilla.
Yep, the gigantic clown at the end where our would-be protagonist, the like police officer, I think his name is no, like the first guy's name is like first name is like Tom Tobacco is the name of the main character, and like the police officer is Dave.
just Dave
the cop, and Dave the cop just fights against Clownzilla, he finds out he can defeat them by popping their noses.
Yep.
And so he fights Clownzilla while everyone else escapes and explodes. I found out that they originally wanted Dave to die in the explosion, but he actually survives in like the flaming clown car that flies out of the ship.
Oh.
And then like it's actually pretty great. Like the movie ends amazingly.
Right.
Because they all just are standing there watching the ship explode, and then their friends all survive that were left on it. Like the two brothers that run the ice cream truck.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, and then they're all hitting with a pie at the very end. And I love that. It was a perfect end, and then just credits roll. It's done after they all get hit with a pie. And
I mean, it was only like an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, it was just like a very standard length.
It's a very
movie.
short movie, honestly. That's like almost Disney movie length.
It's 90 minutes is feature length.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. That is a feature length movie is 90 minutes.
I feel like you're lying.
That's not lying. Look that shit up,
I'm going to look it up.
All right.
Not right now, maybe, but like I will eventually.
You want to school me right now? This is a school me moment.
Wait,
fucking
hold on.
Google my ass.
So, a feature-length motion picture must have a running time of more than 40 minutes to be eligible for an Academy Award.
Fuck me. Whoa, that's to be eligible for Academy Award.
I know.
But
I can't seem to find a consensus.
Oh, a consensus
so I just read
on
the
what is
funniest
officially feature length.
Yeah. So
interesting.
But I mean, like, you're not like 90 minutes sounds believable.
Yeah, it's pretty average for
Right.
for feature length movies.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half. You know, most films are around that. Recent movies seem to be pushing it to like
2
they're
hours
like going
and
well
longer.
over 2 hours. Fucking Endgame was like 3 hours.
I mean, isn't Citizen Kane like a 6-hour movie or some
No.
nonsense? What movie is really
like,
long like that? There's a movie that's like, it's not Citizen Kane. It's another one. Then it's another older movie that's like
I keep
really
thinking Titanic is really
long.
long, but it's only because I saw the original release of the VHS on like 4 different tapes. So like it wasn't actually that long.
Oh, technology.
Right? So it's like they definitely like released that movie on 4 big ass VHS tapes. So when you got like the package for it, it's humongous. My parents had it. I remember it like sitting on the shelf.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
But
I remember I don't even. Never mind. I don't want to talk about Titanic. So
yeah, you do.
So
you
John,
want to talk about Titanic?
I'm not gonna fucking talk
about
that.
Titanic.
I'm not gonna.
What about it?
I don't
you
wanna
not
fucking talk about that
how
movie.
you could fit on the door?
What? I don't want to argue about a stupid meme joke from 15 fucking years ago, bro. Like that was. I wonder how many of our parents, after watching it, just go like, that whole door thing. Fuck you. And our parents
Right?
actually were just fighting over the end of Titanic, like how internet communities fight.
I hope so.
I hope that's what was going on. They're just like, those fights really weren't any money related. Everyone's doing fine. They just really hated the ending of Titanic.
Right.
Fuck them. Yeah. Anyway.
I'm really mad that movie and Avatar are like the most.
Not anymore. They just got dethroned.
Just recently.
Who cares? They still dethroned. Fuck it. They old news.
Fuck it.
Old news.
Who is the new one? The highest grossing film of all time.
Isn't it? It's either like one of the 2 Marvel movies, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Endgame went up there like $2.6 billion.
Star Wars. Oh,
is
wait.
it Star Wars? No, dude. Star Wars has
No.
been falling down, man. Unfortunately, not just in sales, not in my opinion.
Right.
I still like the
Just
series.
overall.
It's fine. It's nice enough, you know. I'm not like a mega Star Wars fan though. I prefer my Old Republic lore and my Old
Right.
Republic stories and stuff like that to like the trilogy storylines. They're all good though. It's fine. It's all fun stuff. It's all meant to be fun. It's what it's there for. It's meant to be fun, not meant here for nerds to kill each other over it. It's not what it's there for. There was a really good like discussion once that I read about how nerds like basically like Bible thumpers are basically just nerds. Because nerds all have source material that they quote all the time to each other. And it's exactly the same bullshit. And it's just like, everyone's got their little thing. So I always thought that's a very, very funny point too. Like with nerds fighting over their, obsessions and stuff like that. We saw it over like all those movie fandoms and show fandoms and everything. Lately it's been a lot of conflict. Punching back and forth. Pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. How did you watch these 2 movies, John, though? But how did you watch Killer Klowns and Leprechaun? Where'd you watch them?
Well, let's see. One of them I actually had already. Like it. So I got a little flash drive from one of my friends one time that just had a bunch of movies on it because he had the DVDs. So he made like his own
that's fucking cool.
versions of it so he could go watch it wherever. And so he gave me that. And I remember I had it. Like it had been sitting in my drawer forever. And so I picked it up and I was like, I think this has Killer Klowns from Outer Space on it. And so I went and looked on it and it was on there. Who knows how many years it's been on this flash drive, but I was able to watch it that way on my computer. And then the other one was through a streaming service that was like, I don't know, it's based in like Japan or some shit. And then I watched Leprechaun on that.
Oh, awesome.
So it was like one of those free sites where it's like, oh, watch this movie. And I'd already seen it before, so I don't need like crazy good quality.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I watched it. I watched both of them. I watched one night and then another one the next night. I watched Leprechaun first.
Gotcha.
And then I watched Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Killer Klowns from Outer Space, I only seen like half of it because of like another time somebody had like the DVD of it. I was like, Jesus Christ, you have a DVD of this movie. So he put it on. We watched like half of it, but I had to leave. And then so I was like, so I knew kind of what it was about. And then I watched it again and I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like there's so much stuff going on there. But Leprechaun, they're like different vibes though.
Yeah,
they're
very, very different movies. I watched both of them, or one of them at my house, watched one of them at my home while just lying down watching. I watched Killer Klowns at home. And that was great. It was just great chilling out, watching it. And then I watched Leprechaun at work, like I already mentioned. And I did not enjoy Leprechaun nearly as much, I don't think, as much as I enjoyed Killer Klowns. Like
it's a little bit simpler, I think.
Yeah,
like, for their concept.
It is definitely simpler. It is definitely simpler, but I just kind of was like, I feel like the slasher thing is kind of, unless you do it well, it's kind of It's kind of like boring because we've seen it so many times.
Oh, gotcha. Well, also like we mentioned before, the slasher films were like, they made rules that like every film afterwards kind of had to follow.
Yeah, to be considered like a slasher movie.
Right, like in that subgenre and like following whatever like has come before it, which is kind of how they did things. They were just building on top of each other. And that's what most of the new horror genres are doing. Like once one person makes this one movie in this area, then they're like the source material.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody afterwards is going to keep doing it. Like we're going to have so many people copy Jordan Peele with the Get Out and Us movies in the next few years. Like there's gonna be so many that are released kind of like it.
I wonder how that's gonna look. I wonder how it will actually look. I wonder what the movies will look like, what their direction's going to be.
Yeah.
What type of copycats are these going to be? Like social media copycats that like put on a huge persona and stuff, or
I would imagine,
are their movies just going to be giant rip-offs of the same concept and they're just throwing characters in there for the sake of it?
Nah, I would think that it's about to get really creative.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because like the shift of people over to wanting to see more indie movies.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
like stories that are very original, and they want to see like different things than what's been in the mainstream. So I think there will be a movement towards that, as well as people really starting to want a certain type of movie with representation. So more people that are not just like a whole cast of white people. They want like other people in those films to show up. So I think it'll be a good thing.
A diverse cast of folks.
Right, which makes sense.
That show, I feel like casting should really be dependent on setting. Where is your film set in?
Yeah.
And who are the people that live there? I am sorry, we're not going to have an entire cast of white people in Southern Africa.
Yeah.
I just don't you're not going to have a family, like you're not going to have Little House on the Prairie in the middle of Southern Africa. However, a Southern African Little House on the Prairie styled theme with an entire African cast might be fucking awesome. That could be totally dope.
Like,
I would probably
change
watch
anything about it. Just the actors.
just change everything else in the setting and everything, and just like appoint all of like what happens to that setting and like that area in particular. I think it could be kind of cool. You could be the attitudes would have to be different, but you just put a family in a different setting and then you change their attitudes accordingly, but kind of have like it's all going to be situational and whatnot. Anyway,
I keep thinking of the
silly.
You have no idea how many times I like think about what if we just switched all these people. And then
like African Game of Thrones.
Dude, that was such a good post.
That could be dope as fuck. I think.
But also, like, someone else commented on my shit, and they're correct. They were like, "I don't know about all this incest. Like, we're not gonna have all these incest if you put all of the people of color in this film." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of that in a lot of cultures. It's mostly European royalty."
Let's keep the bloodline pure.
I love have you ever seen the descriptions of all the rulers, and like they just had like club feet, like a weird
they're always strange
face,
fucking
like,
folks. Yeah,
had trouble breathing, like under jaw, like all sorts of weird shit. And like so their like portraits are not even accurate for what they look like. They're like prettying them up.
Pretty interesting.
You read all the descriptions for it. Those are great. I love going through those. It also reminds me of the guy who paints like portraits of famous actors into like old school uniforms.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So you can see like Morgan Freeman in like an old school uniform, and it just looks right. I love shit like that.
No, that's super interesting. I actually didn't. I mean, it makes a lot of sense though, because they would have a lot of deformities for being like inbred and stuff like that. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I don't know. Like a lot of I want to say that a lot of African history was oral tradition for them. I think it was like a lot of their history was like spoken and not so much written. So I don't know how accurate our information of their history is. That's something I don't actually know. I just do not know.
There's so many like custody battles that are going on as far as artifacts that certain countries have that belong to Africa and belong to certain like places in Africa. So it's like, I think France recently returned a lot of their artifacts.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, and then
I mean, yes, that's true, but I think that you could reskin it and like remove the incest concept. I'm not saying like
I get you.
Specifically rip Game of Thrones and just change the race of everybody. I was saying like you just change the setting, but still Africa's got to deal with like warring families already.
Yes.
You could totally do the espionage, like political battle nonsense. You could create characters that are like Varys, like Tyrion, and just make them African and then give them that setting and give them the way that their royalty works. And then it's like you can just, you could have shit like that. People are working on shit like that now. It's coming up. It's going to happen. It's been happening. There's an Aztec D&D game.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's badass. Fucking
I want to play that. But there's also a show coming out on Netflix that has specifically to do with the Mayan like what's the word for all of the gods? Not the mythology, the pantheon.
Pantheon, thank you.
The pantheon of Mayan gods, and how this like it's like the hero's journey but like Mexican Aztec version of it.
Oh,
it looks so fucking cool. And I'm like, and then just looking at the long list of people who are working on it, who are all like from Mexico, and then they're getting a deal with Netflix to put it out. And I was like, I'm so ready for some fantasy that has to do with Mayan culture.
Oh yeah, no, it was super cool. We just saw that other. Are you talking about that preview we just watched?
No, that's a different.
That
one.
Also looks fucking cool as well.
Like,
I don't even know what it's called. I have no idea.
It's like a Korean made fantasy story.
Yeah, I'm so into it. Let's rock. I'm so ready to rock. And I think that's something that's really cool, is that fantasy is getting to the forefront of media now. So I think we're going to see a lot more broad, interesting worlds. And
sci-fi and fantasy are killing it.
Are slaughtering everything right now. And I know I've said this before on this podcast, and I'm going to say it again, that oftentimes it's during times of crisis that fantasy becomes so popular. So it's very interesting to consider, if it's a Korean-made one, consider what's going on in Korea at the moment.
Right,
Consider the feelings of the people that live there and why they might be wanting a little bit of escape.
The ultimate fear of the North.
Oh, no.
But, okay. So what I really wanted to talk about more too was sort of the structure that they made for both of the movies. So Killer Klowns from Outer Space even though they did some crazy wonky stuff, they sort of had rules as well though. Like they fit into like the cartoon versions of what you would see, where like the Roadrunner and the Coyote is probably like the best version of that, because anytime he would like get thrown off a cliff, he would stop for a moment and like make sure he looks at the audience first and then drop.
Yeah, and then drop. Yep.
So like those kind of like Looney Tunes rules were in both of them. And I wonder if they did that so that you would have more of the comedy effect, and then the rest of it, like they would just bring in the horror to like appeal to another crowd of people, and then just mashed it together. Like, do you think they did it on purpose to make it that funny?
I feel like it was all very intentional. Everything in that movie spoke to me as if it was intentionally done that way. And I feel like all the actors are kind of in on the joke too, based upon some of their overacting, how they, perceive events and things like that. And it was very Trolls 2 in a way, kind of in like the acting quality, where they're like obviously ridiculous. They know it's kind of ridiculous. Whereas I think that to compare and contrast with Leprechaun, I would say Leprechaun, I feel like Warwick made it funny because he couldn't fucking take it seriously in the first place as an actor, probably. So he's like, I'm not doing this unless it's silly, because I can only do it funny, and because it's funny. That's all I can say about this script, guys. It's funny. I ain't doing it any other way. So I feel like it feels forced for a script that was originally not meant for that, and it feels like a very last minute decision, which it was.
Yeah, they had to reshoot some stuff.
Yeah, and so it feels not as cohesive. I'll say it doesn't feel as cohesive, and that's why I think it gets a generally bad rap. And I feel like Killer Klowns, very intentional to be silly. The clowns themselves look cartoony already. They look like those monsters in Space Jam. It could totally be like the Space Jam fucking the opposing aliens. They could totally kind of be like that a little bit, like the weird wide toothy grins and stuff. And oh yeah, absolutely. So I totally feel like it was more intentional in one, and the other one it felt forced. Because it was.
Because it was.
It totally absolutely was forced, yes. So that's why I like Killer Klowns more, and it's a movie that I will hail forever, and it's fucking great, and I'm so glad I got to watch it.
It also has a pretty fair rating, as far as like Rotten Tomatoes goes.
Yeah.
It has like 77% on
That's
there,
pretty good.
which is like pretty legit for a movie like that. But I think it gained a lot of cult following after it came out, and then eventually got some new releases like on DVD and whatnot to get a little bit more cash into it. But I don't think they made their budget pack. I was looking at it and I can't seem to find a solid number anywhere, which usually means they didn't make very much money on it.
They probably didn't make that much on it, which is kind of sad because it was a fun movie.
Right.
It wasn't that bad. It's not like terrible or anything. It's like, it's not like I'm not going to see this at the Oscars or some nonsense like that, but it's fun.
I'm kind of annoyed at how like the Oscars just has a formula for like what they're looking for.
Oh, do they?
And
now?
like they only have like, well, yeah, like when's the last time you saw like a serious horror movie make it into one of the Oscars?
Oh, true. Yeah,
or
never.
Academy Awards? It's always the drama features that they want to see.
With long stoic glances.
Yeah, like as he glances at me.
Stoically.
A moment for the glance. I'm gonna put a picture of your face. I should use a picture of that face for the cover of the episode.
So, I see you've come to me again, Clarice. Yes, I've come to you. Yes, you have indeed come to me. It's been a while since my father died. Yes, I always hated that man. Damn you, woman.
I remember that going differently.
I don't know. I don't even know what movie that's from.
Silence of the Lambs?
Oh yeah, I just took Clarice.
You're talking about Hannibal Lecter.
I was
right?
totally ripping off it, and then I just went wrong.
Oh, okay.
I just did it wrong. But it's just like those like really long. You should just delete that. Really is really what. No, don't keep it here. I'll be embarrassed. I was trying to improv some nonsense and thought it was more funny than it was. Don't tell them that. Don't let them know I'm a fraud.
Oh, I'm saving that. That specific part. Don't let them know I'm a fraud.
I think they can't know.
That's fucking great.
So, so I think, I don't know, but do you have any closing thoughts?
Well, more like closing questions.
Oh, what questions?
Right. So, like, if you had to recommend other movies in this sort of like same funny horror comedy, what would you recommend? We mentioned the Gremlins.
Yeah, we mentioned that earlier, but I would definitely say go watch Gremlins. I guess Rocky Horror is not really there, but it's almost there. I don't neither. I'm trying to think of other goofy horror movies that are quite like Killer Klowns. Oh, dude. The Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors is definitely up there, but
That's
it's
what I
like a
would say.
musical too.
It is a musical. That's fine though. That's the
Which is
goofy
like,
bit.
yeah.
That's why it's goofy.
It's really good.
It's
for
actually
being a
great.
musical.
It's great,
Yeah.
and it is technically horror. And
Yeah.
not that we're afraid of it. It's
No, it
technically
is.
horror though.
I say so
Scary
many lines
monster.
from that like randomly.
But it's a great movie. I would recommend that for Killer Klowns also as another comparable one. Gremlins and Killer Klowns for me. What do you think, John?
Let me see. I had originally thought of Little Shop of Horrors as well. I thought of Krampus because the new Krampus movie is actually really funny.
Dope as fuck. Yes.
In addition to being like, oh shit, like it goes from being funny to like that's pretty legit scary. Like when you get to see the creature's like face, you're like, oh fuck, this is like something serious. Like open mouth monster.
Yep. No, we'll definitely have to do an episode on the Krampus one. That'll be the Christmas
I also thought of Jack Frost.
Okay. I have not seen Jack
Killer
Frost
Snowman.
in a long time. It's been a long time since I watched that movie, but I
and
remember he like attacks a lady in a bathroom.
And then shit like Tremors.
Oh yeah, Tremors is also super fucking
Tremors
movie.
is up there for
How do I forget these movies? Maybe it's because I didn't watch. Did you watch these movies a lot?
Yeah.
See, I did not do that.
I used to constantly watch them because they were on the channels that show the movies. So like when TV was like a main thing, not like how it is now where it's like you have your streaming services.
Yeah.
You had to just be like, I think there's some good shit on this channel, and you just leave it there like all day.
Yeah,
but
and just see if something good comes up.
I would watch Cartoon Network, so because I wanted to watch Cartoon Network and then watch Adult Swim, and then I'd watch Spike TV because Spike TV used to have what's that show where like it's like Japanese show they're trying to do
the game show.
Trying to do the game show.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and they have like all the dub,
like
the dub
extreme
overs.
sports,
yeah,
or whatever.
Extreme sport. Oh my god, dude.
I used to watch that all the time. In addition to watching,
I also watched
like
that
what is it? 1,000 Ways to Die.
Oh,
which was originally fucking narrated by Ron Perlman. So it's like you had Ron Perlman telling you about all the nonsense ways people were getting killed. Yeah, so like that's how I ended up watching The Mummy. Like, I don't know how many hundreds of times.
The Mummy is super cool.
I've watched it so many times.
I like The Mummy.
Does that count as horror?
Yeah, I think the
I would
first
say
one,
it does.
I like the first one, and that's kind of
yeah.
it. I don't.
I
care.
like the first two.
Okay, you know the Scorpion King, is that the second one?
No. The second one was when they get introduced to. Oh wait, it is the Scorpion King. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, those first two are fine. Everything after.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Well, because they had like the third one with.
Brendan Fraser was originally in the first two.
Yes.
And oh dude, Brendan Fraser's still active again.
What is he doing?
He's in that DC. He's in that DC thing. He plays the Robot Man.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's like his new, like, he's been washed up and like out of it for a bit, and he just got back on, and he got to put a big robot suit on. It's pretty cool. What other closing questions do you have for us, John?
I was gonna ask if any part of it like actually scared you, like any of the two movies, like, or you were like, this is kind of creepy actually.
Leprechaun, never. I was never afraid during that entire movie. The clowns, it's like they're just creepy. There are times when I was actually kind of like, oh shit, something's about to explode out of somewhere,
right,
and whatnot, and it kind of like threw me off guard. I think the clowns, just their look and everything was just creepy enough as it was, how they looked at people and stuff. And then when they opened up the cotton candy sacks that are inside of the ship,
oh my god, yeah,
and the faces were all bloody and like dripping over, and they're like, ah, like they liquefied the people inside cotton candy sacks. Like, this is so awesome and just ridiculously like morbid. Like,
right. I like the scream that got thrown in there.
Oh yeah. No. Any other questions, John? What do you think? Which one was scarier to you?
Definitely the Killer Klowns. I think I may have a bigger fear of clowns than I originally thought, because after watching it, I was like, this is kind of weird. I don't know if I want to get into this more. Do you remember when, like, it was like a few years ago, and there was just like random people dressing up as clowns and like stalking people?
We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was fucking weird. Like, it just happened and then it didn't, and then no one ever said anything about it again. But like, it made news on several different places because they were just like showing up and like watching people, and everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? There's like random ass people dressing up as clowns everywhere. I thought it was like some clever marketing for the It movie, but it wasn't. It was just people being really fucking weird.
Yep. Everyone, like, I think that when the It movie was coming out, people were leaving like little yellow balloons outside of like sewer drains and stuff, like, oh my god.
Oh right.
It's like, fuck people. Like, come
on.
One
of my friends has the little SS Georgie tattooed on him.
Oh,
the little boat.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool.
He got it as a flash tattoo.
Float down here.
Yeah, it says it too, right on it.
That's fucking cool.
I think the year it came out, if you went to like any tattoo shop for like their Friday the 13th sales, they had an It movie like themed tattoo.
I've been like, I don't have any tats at all, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna get any. I'd probably get like an alien one though. Like a xenomorph would be pretty cool, but
you should just get a xenomorph on your back.
That would be pretty rad, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be pretty cool. But, you know, can't always just put a big phallic monster on my back all the time.
You know what you should do? You should get like a high fantasy version of yourself, like full Conan armor, like on your back
with a very stoic expression.
Right, that'd be great. And then you can have like a whole back piece.
Oh my god! I'll just be like the Steve-O of fantasy, though. I just won't do anything nearly as crazy as Steve-O does.
You know, have you ever seen those cars? It's usually Mexican dudes who put like the Mayan like god on it, who's holding like some woman who's passed out, who's just like passed out for some reason.
She's just like heat exhaustion got her, and he's just like, my lady, I will get you to the water.
It's so fucking funny to see those because they're like on the hoods of cars, like of trucks.
Yeah, and they're just like, I take care of my women. When you're tired from shopping at the mall all day, I'll hold you.
Oh my god, those crack me up way too much. But on a more serious tattoo note, I did see a guy who had a tattoo piece from like the top of his shoulders all the way to the bottom of his ankles. Like it was one consistent piece. and that was nuts.
Was it like xenomorph stuff or what?
No, it was the like Japanese traditional style. So,
okay, gotcha.
So like the main piece of it was like a samurai like fighting down a demon.
Oh, cool.
And then like monsters and creatures like below it that went all down the legs.
Oh, that's crazy.
Awesome. It was basically like a scene of like this dude fighting creatures from hell or something.
That's just
ridiculous. What? It was a Japanese version of Doom. The cover of Doom.
Okay,
that's what it looked like to me.
And just like I imagine all the demons,
they're like, piling up around him. Yeah,
and he's just like on top of like in the center back, just killing everything.
He's got a samurai sword.
Sing, sing, sing.
We still got to do an episode on Doom.
Yeah, dude, on the Doom games.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have someone play one of them with me because I'm a big baby. Well, don't put that in there. I don't want them to know that I'm a fraud.
Did you ever play Dead Space?
I played like the beginning of it, and I got lost somehow
that game
because I'm bad at those.
Freak you out so bad.
It was already freaking me out. I think I was just like, I'm afraid of going to the next game. Horror games fuck me up, dude. It's so hard for me to play them, and I feel like we're gonna have to do an episode that makes fun of me for that. That's just like, all right, Mitch's little bitch out moment with the horror games.
Dude, I had to stop playing. I can't remember what it's called. I'll look it up. But the game is like it produces hallucinations on the screen and then auditory things that.
Wasn't it like Amnesia? Amnesia?
I don't think so. But essentially, like you're trying to rescue someone, and then like you don't know what is real.
Hellblade?
What is it? I think it's that one.
Hellblade Senua with Sacrifice?
I think so.
Does it like have like the third person, and it's like a lady with like a skull on her side?
Yes.
And she's like going, "Yeah, dude, where did you stop at?" I need to finish that game also, actually, because it's really good.
I don't remember.
It's really good. It's probably one
but essentially, I didn't play very much of it. I got through the first bits of it, and then I was like, "This is really fucking me up." And I just put it down for a second and just never came back.
Oh, you put the headphones on?
Right, I had
to play it. Oh my god,
I had the headphones, and I went over to one of my friends' houses who has the like, I don't know what it's called, the VR shit.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and so
I would just try to play it normally without like headphones. Right. Maybe it's actually a really good, like the story's really good.
Yeah.
How the character is constantly doubting herself. The whole like all the voices in her head make her doubt herself. It's I love this style. It's probably one of the most accurate portrayals of Norse mythology I've ever seen in a video game before, without it being like ridiculous. Like God of War is cool, but it's not like it's going on its own mythology. It's got its own thing going on with it. But I'm sure they put a lot of work into that one. I'm also ignorant and I haven't played it, so I don't know everything. I know. But I know Senua's Sacrifice was really deep on it though. They got into a lot of the old lore.
It's a good game, but I felt like when I was playing it that there was just too much shit. It's my own fault. If I ever play any sort of like fantasy role-playing game, I get too stuck in the side quests. Mm-hmm. Like when I was playing The Witcher, do you know how long I sat and played Gwent for?
Oh, gotcha. Damn.
I fucking played like...
You just wanted to get super good at it?
Who knows how many rounds of Gwent, and then I got back to it and I was like, shit, I was supposed to be doing something. Like I had like a mission that I was on over here.
Senua's is very like, it's taking you down a path. Like you're going through the levels and getting like, there's not a lot of like twisting and turning. I feel it's more narratively driven like that rather than like Dark Souls that has like multiple ways you can interpret things and which way you can go and all of that. Whereas like it's more like very linear storyline.
I never finished Dark Souls either.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. I feel like doing some episodes on the Dark Souls, like having us and another speaker, each of us play a different one.
Oh man.
It would be kind of cool. And like just play them a little bit and then come talk about the horror elements of the games.
We could do something like that.
I think that would be cool because there's some very fucking hellish bosses in those games, dude. They're crazy.
It's like one shot and you're dead.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude. It's not. They're definitely hardcore games though. That's definitely like not for casual folks. Like you're not gonna
Let me see. The last question I had was, do you have like legitimate fears? Like, do you know for sure there's like one thing that gets you scared?
The dark.
Yeah.
The fear of the unknown is probably my worst thing. I don't like being dark. The fear of being enclosed, like being enclosed in like a coffin or some enclosed space,
A little bit
like
of
being stuck in a
claustrophobia.
I don't like no, I don't like stuff like that at all. No,
That's interesting.
I freak out if I get too close and I feel like I can't breathe and shit. Like
Oh,
I start
really?
freaking out. Yeah, it's
Okay.
not good. I can be in like a small room, but if I have no way out and I'm like have walls that are like just at my shoulders and chest length and stuff, I'm gonna start fucking freaking out if I don't know what's going on. So yeah.
I'm the opposite. I could like sleep in a coffin.
Weird.
Yeah, I like even when I sleep now, although recently I've been sleeping on top of my covers, but anyway, at some point I would like bring the blankets all the way up to my face and like sort of cover my mouth. And so it was just like my nose up and I'd
be a cocoon.
I'd be laying on I'd be laying on my back and I'd get my pillows and bring them like down over my head, and that was how I would sleep super comfortably. Man, I used to do that like all the time when it was colder and it was like able to do that. But now I'm just like sleeping on top of my covers like a psychopath, and like no cover, no blanket covering me. I'm just like foot off the bed.
I like my fans like blowing over
Right.
myself while I'm sleeping.
But I have to agree with you that I still have a very legitimate, healthy fear of the dark, which is why I like have so many night lights.
Oh yeah.
Which is the weirdest thing. But like, just I have like, I'll just let it go sometimes where I'm like, what if there's something here or there, and it just starts like, you know how many times I've looked over and thought my chair was like a fucking person just standing there.
Yes. So many times. Oh, Jesus Christ. No.
That's the shit that always gets me too, because I'm like, oh fuck, oh okay, that's my chair. Plus, I wear glasses, so I can't see.
We were like walking up dark stairways, like a dark stairwell,
Oh, God.
and you think there's something must be behind you, so you have to hurry up the stairs to
Yes.
get in your room really quick, and that I always get an vision of like a claw coming through the door just as I close it every time, like there's something definitely chasing me. At my work, if I go out to throw out the trash at 3:00 in the morning and it's pitch black because there's no streetlights out there, it's pitch black.
Fuck.
So my walk to the trash can is horrifying for me because I'm just like, there's definitely, and you'll hear like a branch move from like a bird or something, and you're just like, fuck, god damn it, xenomorph hiding in the fucking bushes, gonna get me.
Oh.
There's a crazed meth addict running around the front yard going to stab me or something. I have no idea.
Dude,
who knows?
I get that when I'm going upstairs as well. And then I also get it on, which is really silly, but like if you're ever washing your hair in the shower, and you're just like
close your eyes.
You close your eyes for a second.
Because you're vulnerable.
Right.
You're vulnerable. You're blind and vulnerable right there. A predator could murder you.
This is a secret reason why I have Justine get in the shower with me. I need to watch her while I'm cleaning my hair.
I don't take showers with anyone because you could always kill me.
That's such an awkward killing too, because you're both naked,
right? But I mean, if they're killing you, they're probably just like, yes, let the blood flow over my body. And then they're all like,
psycho shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then they just kind of like, and then the water. I mean, the shower's just gonna wash it off afterwards. All you gotta do is make sure your toesies are bloodless, and you're fine.
Your toesies. I love that you threw in toesies after a grisly murder.
Just step on out that gore.
Oh my god. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't like bugs.
Spiders. I fuck spiders.
Like
I hate
any
spiders.
creepy crawlies that have multiple legs, I can't handle it.
If
I don't want them touching me. I don't want it near me. I don't want them flying near me. Like, I don't want it. It's not something for me. Even spiders that are like chilling, they're like not dangerous. I'm like, I need you to go somewhere else. It's not.
You put them outside though. See, I smash them and leave the corpses around to like as like a warning and to like warning of other spiders. You'd think they'd learn, they don't.
Right. This is very reminiscent of, who is it? Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, exactly.
Just represent dead bodies in the front of his castle, just so you know. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I would say those two things, because I have no fear of like reptiles. Like I could pick up a snake.
Yeah, snakes are cool.
It's no problem. Cause I used to have a corn snake.
Rodents make me weird. Like picking up rodents and stuff make me feel weird. I always think they're gonna nip at me or something.
Oh, they
hamsters fuck with me. I don't know why. It's weird. I'm so nervous of handling some animals.
I specifically did not buy a hamster because the little shit bit me in the store.
Oh.
I was like stoked. I had like the box and everything for it, and I was with my parents, and I picked him up out of the thing, and he bit my finger. And my mom, she tells me the story. She was like, You just dropped it back in and told me you didn't want a hamster anymore. I was like, all right. And then I think I got a snake like not too far after that.
I just imagine this kid going, ouch.
Done.
I don't want this. Stupid animal. Goodbye.
The only other funny thing was when I owned my corn snake and then I owned a rat at the same time in the same room. So like they could see each other from their tanks. And I feel like I always like to imagine that the snake had like a really proper, prim, like British accent, and that the rat had the Cockney accent, and they would constantly be saying shit to each other because they like stayed in my room together.
This fucking imagination of yours.
It was great.
Oi, what you doing over there? I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm Slytherin. You look pretty tasty yourself. Stop staring at me.
That was my favorite. And then anytime I would feed my snake, I would put a little blanket over my rat's cage so he couldn't see.
Yeah, so he wouldn't know that there's a predator just outside.
Right, like feet away from him.
That's like you're the village.
Yeah.
Him. The blanket is like the propaganda that you spread to the rat to let him know that the predator's
That movie made me so mad. I was still upset. Like,
it could have been cool.
So many years later.
It could have just been horrible pig beasts in the forest, but it had to be a weird thing.
No, they made it the dude who apparently had like a mental illness. And then like that was the dude who was the creature. And I was like, it was Joaquin Phoenix playing a mentally challenged person. And you're like, wow, this is really fucked up.
Oh God.
Yeah, like it got
I
bad.
Just forget that movie entirely? Like,
it's a fucked up movie.
God damn it.
It was all of the
M.
rich
Night
like
Shyamalan.
doctors and scholars and shit who wanted to like live in peace, but like took it to an extreme and then took their families there. And then there was generations born in there who don't know anything about the world. It's nuts. But that was like his famous twist ending, so whatever.
They're actually dishonest.
Didn't we talk about Signs not too long ago?
Yeah, a little bit ago we talked about Signs. Signs actually had some pretty creepy stuff in it.
Well, someone like took apart the whole plot of Signs for me.
Oh.
Not that long ago.
Would they ruin it or something?
Well, no, they were just like, how the fuck? Like, what about when it rained? Like, are they just gonna be?
Yeah, they're just gonna like, yeah,
they're gonna hide in their ship?
Yeah, they're hiding their shit probably.
This was like when you read War of the Worlds and then just discovered that like they couldn't take over because of
germs.
Germs, yeah.
But it was also like germs would have taken a while to kill them off.
Yeah, a long while.
Yeah,
not
so
like
they probably
immediate.
Like, yeah, they
not fucking mid-invasion.
In a way, we oftentimes like humanize the villains. Like we create them just as flawed as we are, even though they might be technically superior. They are still flawed in that, they have, immune systems too.
I am not a fan of humanizing villains. Me personally, as a writer, I would not do that.
You mean humanizing?
Humanizing as in like they have a reason for what they're doing. It's not just like pure madness for whatever they're doing.
Well, pure madness is cool sometimes, but
not appropriate for everything though. I understand.
Not for everything, no. But I like, but I do like having villains that have a motive that's a little bit more broad than just the I want to kill all the people and be the best than all. It's cooler like to if Thanos had said that, he wouldn't be as compelling and he'd be kind of lame and boring and forgettable.
It was interesting because his argument basically was that like we couldn't make more food and things because then people would just get more greedy.
Yeah, but he has a reason for what he's doing, and the thing, and it's not even like it's nothing as simple as I want to murder everyone. I know I'm using him as an example. There's other villains I think that have like similar minds, but there's always interesting ones.
I was so conflicted about like, did you ever see Maleficent?
Yes. No, I don't think I did not believe I did actually.
So I'm going to spoil part of it for you.
Go for it.
So the reason why Maleficent is so evil is because she used to be, God, I don't know what they're called, but she had wings.
Oh.
So she had wings and was able to fly before. And then she fell in love with this one dude who is the son of one of like the main kings in their kingdom. Mm-hmm. And he cuts off her wings and brings it to the king. And that's how he takes power. Because he's like, oh, check this out. Like, I got the wings from her. So it makes this woman fall in love with him, which is Maleficent. And then so many years later, she can't grow her wings back. So she like covers up with these big gowns and learns all the dark magic. And then goes back and curses their first child. And is just like, well, she's going to grow to be 18 and like prick her finger on a sewing needle and all
totally
this.
Awesome.
And then she's going to drop into a deep sleep. And then that's how like the whole story goes. But like, that's the main reason why she's getting revenge. for like this dude. And I was like, I didn't know if I should like it because like it's a good story, but it was also like I already liked Maleficent just as like an evil character to begin with.
Exactly. So maybe it at the time she was portrayed well enough that it was fine. It suited the story. So I like villains that have a motive other than that. Like this recently, I wrapped up like the week before last. I wrapped up a campaign and I had the main villain turn out to be a guardian and trying to protect the realm. Yeah. Essentially, his whole deal was that he was keeping these artifacts away from a demon lord or the like followers of a demon lord who could use these artifacts to summon that demon lord to the actual plane of existence, and this is like a big bad macho. This is not just like some fucking like low level demon. This is like one of the like granddaddy demons of all demons, essentially deal. And so I had it flipped where he became a guardian, and so it made them kind of be like the party honestly was just like, fuck you, we're still killing you, I don't give a shit what you say. But it made me be like, well, they're thinking about it a little bit at least. Right. And now everything that's gonna happen next is gonna make sense.
I love that people's immediate reactions is usually like, can I kill it?
Yep, it is. That's D&D is very much beat it till it stops moving. And then hit it one more time.
Right. Just for safe measure.
Yeah, just for safe measure. You want to make sure it's not a troll.
Is there anything that can die and come back?
Yeah.
Shit.
In D&D, like monsters in that universe, I think that one of the more recent trolls are one of them. They can regenerate, so you can kill a troll. And if you haven't dealt acid or fire damage to it, its regenerate goes off, so it gets a point of health back, and it'll just keep going like that. Oh
shit!
So that's the whole deal with them. You have to have fire or acid to kill them because it stops their regeneration.
Oh, I see.
So that trolls will do that. Some undead will do that too. If you hit them and they hit 0, they get to make like a con save to like
reassemble,
go back to 1 again instead of hitting 0. So you'll have like skeletons you smack, and they just keep going afterwards, even if that hit would actually kill them. Yeah, dude, they're pretty. Yeah, D&D's got some cool stuff in it.
Hell yeah. Well, I think we've reached the end.
I think we've reached the end of what we want to talk about.
Was there any final thoughts on the 2 movies?
Killer Klowns is pretty great. It's pretty awesome. I enjoyed it so much, and I'm really glad I got a chance to watch it. And I don't really have any other thoughts. No, I think I've said everything that I want to say, John.
I want to remind everybody that we're super easy to find. We're on all the streaming sites. So we're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music. SoundCloud is the main place that we're at. We've also got our Instagram, our Facebook page, as well as the Twitter that I am updating as much as I can. I've started a film recommendation of the day, which is going to be all horror films. So if you're interested in going to watch movies that I personally recommend, they're going to be showing up on all the social media sites every day. And then every now and again, some fun questions for you guys to join in on, as well as possible discussions on certain topics that we just couldn't discuss here in the podcast, or it had to get cut out, either one of the two. And so definitely keep listening for new topics. We're going to come up with a few different things in the next few weeks, including video games, some more literature, possibly comics as well. But I appreciate you coming out to talk with me again, Mitch. I hope everyone has a good night.
Have a good night.
Thanks.